6 people in about 6 hours, made $6,600 or something like that.
So Colin, tell me a little bit about yourself. What's your story?
Yeah, well, first off, man, thanks for having me on the podcast. I love the location we're in right now. It's pretty insane, the mountain
Yeah,
view.
if you're watching this, I'll show,
you're
show
gonna
the
have
other
to show
side
them
in a second.
the viewers the view after. But yeah, so a little bit about me. I grew up in New Jersey to a middle-class family, so nothing crazy. Had no family money, no entrepreneurs within my family. The protocol was basically go through high school, go to a good college, get a good corporate job, get a 401k, live in a nice house, get a family, and basically retire at 65. You know.
I do. I got funneled into medicine.
Yeah, exactly.
You know I know.
You went extra hard on that.
Yeah.
So
a little bit more money getting there too.
Yeah. I remember we were talking about that. So yeah, typical the scam that 99% of people fall for. I was 100% in it. I was trapped in the matrix. Really had no awareness around it, no consciousness that I was even like in that until after college. I graduated with a degree in business, and I started working at ADP, a payroll company. So for 4 years, all I did was party. I just knew that I was going to figure it out. I didn't do much planning. I knew that my dad was in sales. I like to travel. I thought sales might be something that I would be good at because I'm a people person. I'm an extrovert. So I just went with, that was one thing I did pretty well. I looked at what I had, which people don't do sometimes. It's like, okay, what is your edge?
Yep.
What are you better at than most people? Just take a look at yourself. Look in the mirror. What are you good at? Some people are very introverted, so that means that you're probably gonna be better at doing something operations behind the computer in the office. Whereas for me, I was like, I'm very social. I like to travel. I like to get out. I like to do things. I'm very active. So outside sales was the job that I took for myself. So I applied for ADP outside sales position, selling payroll. I got that job, and within about 2 months of really trying to like it and like see myself there for the future, I was like, I'm in deep shit right now. I was making 39 grand a year. I had about $45,000 in debt at that time. And yeah, things were just not looking too bright for me. Like, I was really trying to see myself doing this job for, an extended amount of time. And then also trying to realize that, okay, I got 45 grand worth of debt. With the amount I'm making right here, like it's gonna take 10 years or so to pay that thing off,
right?
With the expenses I have and stuff.
That exercise that you just talked about in self-awareness, what am I good at and what can I do? I think if more people did that, our economy would be in a better place, our mentality would be in a better place.
Yeah.
People just get pushed into careers and fields that they have no business being in.
100%. And it's one thing to get pushed into college, but like even though you're not doing well in college or you don't like college, you think it's a trap, try to get something out of it, right? Yes. For me, I learned how to talk. I learned how to be social, and that was something that stuck with me forever. And then through the sales job, where I was going was, I knew I didn't like the job, but I went through the best sales training in Fortune 500, like ADP is rated #1.
Right.
So I took that and I learned that skill set of how to follow up with leads, how many touch points you need to do on a sale, follow up emails, how to properly set meetings. So I learned all of that, and then I executed that later on in all of my businesses. So that was like one nugget that I took. And so basically anything that you're in, even though the situation's bad or it might not be the thing you're gonna do for the rest of your life, find the golden nuggets in each thing and then take that with you and run with it. Don't flip every negative into a positive. So anyway, basically I did this job for 2 months. I ended up getting really depressed. I kept partying my weekends away. I was living for the weekend, just feeling like shit all the time, unmotivated, around a bunch of people that just were not in alignment of like what I wanted with my life. I wanted to travel the world, make a lot of money, do fun shit. Like I'm on social media just watching kids, 18, 19, 20-year-olds on Shopify making hundreds of thousands of dollars, flying around the world, going to Bali. I'm like, man, like I want to live this life. So I just started taking steps, to put myself in a situation where I could basically go and do that myself. And I kind of got pushed into that by an event that happened. I was drugged one night in Scottsdale, woke up in some random house with like a bunch of random people. My shirt was ripped, my one shoe was missing, and I was just like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Like I had all that debt. I was at this job.
Yeah.
I was in between too. Like I was fucking around on the internet, listening to podcasts like Gary Vee, Ed Milet, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, reading books, like really getting into that stuff, but then still wasting all my energy at that job. And then that event happened, and it was kind of like two crossroads. It was like, I'm either going to live a very embarrassing life to myself. I knew I wasn't living my fullest potential at all. I knew there was so much in me that I wasn't fulfilling. And so it was either go down this depressing ass life and live an average life and, not reach my full fulfillment. And that scared the fuck out of me. And you know what they say when, when change, what is it? It's when it's easier to stay the same. Or fuck, I forget.
There's
the
a
quote.
couple that I like. One is like people will choose uncertainty over discomfort every time.
When the pain to
discomfort over
when the
uncertainty.
pain of staying the same is greater than the pain to change, you change.
Yes.
So that's what happened to me. So I was so in so much pain, just so fed up with my life, so fed up with myself, and I wanted to go on an adventure. Like I wanted to just say, fuck this shit. Like fuck this job. I don't like it. I don't like the kids I'm living with.
Yep.
There's this online world that's out there. Like I want to be in that. And so I made the decision that day, quit my job, about 45, 50 grand in debt at the time with all the extra credit card debt I had. I had about a month of runway on one credit card to pay my rent, my car payment, and to make my loan payments. And I just sent it, bro. I just went all in on the entrepreneurship
I love
journey.
to hear that like rock bottom breaking point where you're like, fuck this, I'm gonna do it. I've
Yeah.
been watching kids do it.
Yeah.
I know I got it in
Yeah.
me. I'm gonna make the move. I'm
Yep.
gonna quit. I'm gonna go in this all in for myself. So what was that kind of first 3 months like going into business for yourself? Obviously you had some skills.
Yeah, so let me take a step back, because if you're watching this, you're like, oh, you just quit and then the next month
Right.
you made it? Like, no. So over that time when I was working at my job, I was, every second I wasn't at that job, I was online researching. Like I was already made up the decision that I don't like this. I want to start making moves. I want to change my career path. So when I'd get home from the job, I would, do research. I would look up courses. I would buy courses. Ty Lopez. I started going to local networking events around real estate. Yeah. Grant Cardone was in town one time. It was like a free event. So I started, getting myself out there, getting ideas flowing. So I realized, there was a couple hot industries at that time. There was real estate, which you could do wholesale. Mm-hmm. Not much money needed for that. You can kind of just flip house contracts and make a good profit if you get a deal done. There's an ATM business that in town, there was a group of kids doing that. So I reached out to them, tried to learn how to do ATMs. Then I started a clothing company with someone from my corporate job. Mm-hmm. I used to like film and stuff when I was younger. I used to film skateboarding. So I knew that that was like a skill set I had. So we partnered up, we did that. That kind of fizzled out. I tried a content creation company because then I had the camera from filming that. Yeah. So I started like taking pictures of people like on the weekends for like $100 or whatever. So all these different things I was trying. And then when I quit, I had all the time in the world to try all of these things.
Yep.
And the craziest shit is, and like for anyone watching, what Gary Vaynerchuk taught me in his book is if you don't know what your brand is, your journey is your brand. So just film the journey and the journey will become your brand. So I was filming myself doing all this shit on Instagram every day, Instagram stories. Like, guys, today I'm going to knock 200 doors. I just quit my job. I'm out here, like I'm grinding, like literally like telling everyone exactly what I was doing. And, you have haters, of course. Like I got all my friends, from college, that my drinking buddies, like they see me quit, they're making fun of me, bro. Like, what the fuck is Colin doing? I stopped going out at night after that situation happened. So really just sacrificing it all, not giving any fuck what anyone thought of me, and looking out for myself first, building a relationship with myself, figuring out what I'm good at, falling face first with all these businesses that failed. And what happened was, just through documenting the businesses, even though none of them work, I literally made no money on all these businesses.
You were learning.
I hit 1,000 doors in Arizona in the August heat, and I did not make one sale. ATMs, I trekked through every single cash business in Scottsdale, never got an ATM placement. But I documented everything, and people loved the documentation, and I started to gain trust and a following. Mm-hmm. All these people were sharing my posts, sharing my account around, and it all changed. Everything changed when the sixth business came around. And the sixth business was not something I intentionally tried to do. What happened was, through all these businesses, I racked up even more debt. So now I had a ton of credit card debt. I took out a personal loan that was about to default. The loan defaulted, and my credit went from like a 710 all the way down to like a 560. And so now I have no credit and I'm 50 grand in debt, and now I'm literally at rock bottom. So I had about a month of runway left. None of the businesses worked. And I knew that credit was something that was so important because I started to learn about it at networking events.
Yes.
So I go on YouTube and I start researching, how to remove derogatory marks off my credit file. And I find out that there's something called the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And through that, you can literally dispute any item on your report. And if they cannot prove it, they must remove it by law. So I was like, wait a second. So I have this defaulted loan right now. It's from an unsecured lender. You're telling me that if I can find an inconsistency in their filing, that I can get it removed if they can't prove it's me. And I was like, holy shit. So I literally spent, the next couple days just studying, filling up notebooks, watching YouTube videos, taking courses of credit repair. Learned credit repair. I sent the dispute letters into Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, filmed everything as I'm doing it. Guys,
Cool.
Today, I found out that you can do this, this, and this, and you can send a 609 letter, and if they can't, if they can't prove it, they have to remove it. So I got my inquiries off first, which was cool. I saw them fall off, and then I got the collection off in about a month.
Wow.
And the collection came off, and that was the only negative thing on my file. So my credit went from the 560 up to a 730. And so now I had my credit back, and I had a ton of knowledge about credit. So I understood through studying that there's sequences you can do. So you can get like 5 to 7 credit cards in like a 1 to 2 day period. And so I lined up the whole thing. I made sure my file was right. I made sure all my cards were paid off. Once again, documenting everything as I'm doing it. I applied for 7 cards in about 2 days, got approved for $75,000 in credit limits. 30K of that was on business card at 0% interest. So now I literally had money that I could liquidate off a card at 0% to pay off my other high interest debt. 20K of the loan that I got removed forever was gone. So now I only had about 30K of debt. So really, if you think about it, I was almost at like a break even, and I filmed everything. And then something happened. I was getting so many DMs from people saying, dude, can you help me with that? I got this fucking collection from college. I didn't pay my bill this time. I had this dentist's office. And I'm just like, oh my God, like this is a needed thing out there that all these kids that are my age are too afraid to share, but I'm sharing it. And so now they know that like, oh, okay, there's other people out there in this situation. This kid knows how to help.
Funny how that lines up, right?
Yeah.
You have 5 failed businesses. You probably stack some skills through those 5, whether it be websites, lead generation, ads, and then boom, you actually found a hole in the market, something that someone needed.
Yeah,
now
just through trying.
Just through trying.
And
just
that's
through trying
the thing.
shit.
Guys, like I know how, and you probably have been there too, when you want to be successful overnight, like you're so jealous of everyone being so successful, and you just feel like you don't have, like you can't find it. Like you got something in you, but you're having the hardest time figuring it out. It's meant to be like that for a reason. Like this shit is not easy. You have to literally go out and fall on your face in front of everyone over and over and over again. Some of you watching, you might start your first business and get it first try. It's very rare though. It might take you 5 failed attempts. You might have to quit your job. You might be on your last penny, or even worse, 50 grand in debt, and then you'll still have to do one more hard thing, and then you're at the finish line. So like the finish line is always after the hardest like boss. I like to think of it as like a battle. You just got to keep battling and battling and battling, and then the finish line appears at the end. So that's kind of like the story on the come up. And that business that I first started was called Credit Class. So I got that idea. I proved the concept. I partnered with an operations company for credit repair because I didn't want to do that. I wanted to market. I wanted to educate. I wanted to market. And so for the next month, I pivoted from all that bullshit that I was doing, 5 physical businesses that had no success. I was like, I've been doing all of this old stuff that I could be doing 40 years ago. Why am I not focusing on this online world where, I started this in the first place to get to this? So now I got my high income skill. I'm going to educate people on credit. And so all I did was, I see people making these 1-minute value videos. I'm scrolling through my feed. This guy's telling us how to do ads, or this guy's doing how to do Toro. So I'm like, I'm just going to do this for credit. Here's your first 5 credit cards you want to get. This is how you dispute an inquiry off of Experian. And I would just make these videos be picture, video, and I started to just deck out my profile for the next month. These videos were getting shared all over the place, and my credit repair business that I partnered with, I started getting paid a lot. Like I started getting a lot of clients, and the one thing that I realized was, okay, I have credit repair, but all these people want like help with the travel cards. They want to know how to do the points. And that's what I really like. I love to travel. So I was like, why don't I just make like a course around credit where I teach people how to leverage the credit, how to build income with it, and how to travel the world for free. And those were the 3 pillars. And I woke up one day and I got this download and I was like, holy fuck, I need to go and create credit class. Like a class that we should have been taught in college or high school that just breaks down credit to everything you need to know, and it tells you how to utilize it to its full advantage. So I went in a coffee shop, literally don't have a team, I don't have a laptop. I sat down with an iPhone for 5 hours, I drank a couple coffees, and I built my first business on Instagram.
You made a class on an iPhone?
It's called Credit Class, and it's on Instagram. Yeah,
That's nuts.
It was just an Instagram course. So
Yeah.
the page was private, and literally, like, I didn't even know how to do Kajabi, nothing, bro. I just winged it,
Yeah.
and I knew the value was all in my head. I didn't care really what it looked like, and everyone had their eyes on me. So I'm like, I need to get something out as fast as possible. So like, here's another, quick off-site of what we're talking about. When you are trying to get into a business and you have a proof of concept, don't try to make it perfect. Don't like go through a bunch of meetings, try to organize everything, get the website all cute and nice. Like, just get the shit out there as fast as humanly possible. Success loves speed.
Yes.
And I had the momentum so good with all the content, all the messages, people asking, Colin, do you have a course? Colin, can I pay you for mentorship? I didn't have the product. I needed the product now. So I created it all through Instagram. And the craziest thing is, that week that I created it, Black Friday was coming up. So Black Friday is like one of the biggest online sales days in
Big credit card
human
day
history.
right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what better way to launch my first business than to launch it on Black Friday? So I spent all week perfecting the page. I made it a private page. And then I labeled the price at $500, but because Black Friday, we're gonna do $250 off, so half price. I launched it after promoting it on my stories every single day, showing all the hacks, but blurring out how to do it.
Yeah.
So getting people like, oh, dude, you can wipe your annual fee on the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and I'd show me getting the refund, but I don't show you the steps. You have to buy it.
It's a smart little thing that you figured out early on. Most people don't.
So I basically, and I got a lot of this info from YouTube and other courses.
Yeah.
And I just regurgitated it in my own brain.
You got to self-educate on this stuff. Most people think you can just like learn entrepreneurship or pick up and do it.
Yeah.
There's so many steps and it's so involved.
Yeah.
And there's so much nuance that people don't understand. The only way you can possibly have a chance is by doing exactly what you did.
It's crazy.
Get on YouTube, buy courses.
Yep.
If you have YouTube creators that you enjoy learning from,
go
find their course. Go buy their course.
Exactly. You got to spend money to make money. So I launched the course, signed up 26 people in about 6 hours, made $6,600 or something like that, and I knew my life was changed forever. Like that, that was the defining moment where I was like, this is it. Like
it's funny.
I just cracked the code. Like,
when you finally make it, all those like friends and family who was like, what is he doing? Like posting his Instagram stories, making apparel. They finally come around and like, all right, like I see you. I see you doing something real. Something's happening.
Yep. Exactly.
And that's a great feeling.
Yeah.
But a lot of people can never get past that initial ridicule stage that everybody goes through.
Yeah.
Man, when I left medical school, residency, I was a trained doctor. I was practicing.
Sure.
And decided not to continue to pursue business.
Oh, man.
Everyone's like, what are you doing taking this gamble?
Sure.
At that point, it wasn't a gamble. I had already been doing business for 6 years. I was already successful.
Exactly.
I was making a life decision, but I still had so much ridicule.
Yep.
And it made that decision that much harder. So what did you do? How did you feel dealing with that ridicule? And do you have any advice for people who might be going through that?
Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned this because my dad, when my mom told my dad that I quit my job, she told me the story. He was driving on the highway and he had to pull over on the side and he was hyperventilating. And we didn't speak for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So my dad, he wants the best for me. So does my mom. Like all of our parents do. But a lot of the times, that involves like comfort. And comfort is like the worst drug ever.
Yes.
Like that's what kills your dreams. And so they had me where they wanted me. I had a secured job. I had secured income coming in every 2 weeks. I had a car. I had an apartment. Their job is done, right? So when you start to take risks, you're gonna get ridiculed by everyone, but you have to know what you're doing is right for you, and that's all that matters. So, if you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you can tell that you're not happy, all you gotta do is, get alone, get in a relationship with yourself, and that's what I started doing. Started waking up at like 5 a.m., and I just started talking to myself, like literally, like I would just pray, I would meditate, I would go on walks, I would go to the gym early, and I did all of this before work. So like I spent that extra 2 hours alone every day, and that's when I built a relationship with myself. I started loving myself, listening to myself, what I actually wanted, not what my friend Jake wanted, not what my mom and dad wanted. Just me. That's it. That's all. That you're the movie character in your own life.
You're the
right?
main character.
You're the main character in your own life. If you don't like the fucking movie, it's the only movie you got. You can't pick another movie. You got to make the movie dope. Like, you can be the coolest character. Like, you can be the movie star of your own movie. So you got to think like that. So, dude, it's pretty ruthless. But like, who gives a fuck what anyone thinks? Even your parents. Like if they're being like ridiculous and they're not doing what's right for you and they're being unreasonable and they don't want you to try things, fuck them. Like, you got to look out for you. That's it. Like, who cares? So at the end of the day, man, yeah, just make yourself happy, and that's all you can do.
One thing that you said that was really powerful is learn to love yourself. And I think it takes a certain level of confidence to get past that.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you don't have that level of confidence, you're going to believe your parents, you're going to believe your friends when they tell you, what are you doing? You're an idiot. Go back to work, get a job. You're probably going to fail.
Yeah.
And they're right. If you look at statistics, you probably are going to fail.
Yeah.
So it takes a certain ego to get past all that and push through it, regardless of what everyone around you is saying.
It really does. Confidence is like what I usually say is the number one thing. And I feel like people don't really talk about it too much.
Yeah.
But self-love and confidence go hand in hand. Like, if you hate yourself, you're going to have no confidence. And what's crazy is, to gain my confidence, I used to have no confidence. I used to have horrible acne. Like, I had cystic acne from senior year of high school all the way up until junior year of college. And I hated myself. Like, I would look in the mirror and people would call me like pizza face. Like, it was bad. Like, I would get pretty much bullied for it, and then I'd bully myself for it. And I couldn't even look at the mirror. Like, I lived in my frat house and I was on Accutane. And when you take Accutane, it really starts to like come out. Your skin's all scaly, flaky, and I had zero confidence. So going through that journey of literally breaking myself down as a human, having self-hate, and then watching my face clear up over that 12-month period, and then finally having no acne, now I was like, oh, it's game over. Like, I look fucking great now. And like, I respect myself now for what I just went through, and no one else had that. So that, when you go through something that's horrible and you watch people have, something that you don't, that's so normal for them. Just like having clear skin. I would look at someone that has clear skin and just like, this guy has no fucking idea.
I was an Accutane patient myself.
Really?
I had cystic acne growing up.
Crazy.
I was 150 pounds, soaking wet.
Wow.
Oily skin too,
Yeah.
like pimply and oily. It was disgusting.
And so when you went through that, when you were done, how fucking confident did you become?
Yeah,
Crazy.
It was I was a whole different person.
Whole different person.
It was like a year. I was
Literally.
a whole different person.
Same, dude. Same.
Yeah.
So I went that summer. Before I went back to school, I went to Barcelona, or no, I went to New York City for an internship, and I worked on Wall Street to try to become an investment banker. That's what I thought I wanted to do. Wolf of Wall Street. I thought that was like the thing. So that was like a phase. But I was on Accutane then, but I didn't talk to anyone all summer. I knew in my head that by August, when I went back to school, I was gonna be done. My face would be cleared up. I'm gonna hit the gym all summer. I'm gonna get this shit over with, and I'm gonna make as much money as humanly possible. I came back to school junior year, completely different person. People were like, bro, like, who are you? And that's how the confidence came. And I had to go through all that bullshit. So like, you might be in a position where you have a lot of self-hate, and this is just temporary. People think that this is forever. Like, when I was going through Accutane, and I'm sure you literally thought it was never gonna end. Like, this is the worst. I look at myself every day, it keeps getting worse, blah, blah, blah. But man, like, once you get that self-confidence, that self-love, that spark, you will change your life 100%.
Some quick ways to do it, I think: take care of your appearance, take care of your fitness and your health.
That's the easiest way.
Take care of your mind. If you're constantly validated with good work that you're doing, I think that helps.
Sure.
And then motivation.
Yeah.
If you're somebody who can self-motivate to get up at 4 a.m., to get the work done, you're gonna start to slowly love yourself.
100%.
So even if you're at a bad place, you do those things and it'll start to stack. And before you know it, you're gonna have the confidence level that you need to go get shit done.
Yeah.
Colin, tell me about a time in your entrepreneurial journey where you were scared.
Scared every day. I mean, even with the
Peak
confidence.
scared, most scared.
Peak scared. I would say, honestly, pretty recently. I was in an industry where I was making a lot of money with a certain business, and I had to transition from that business into a completely different business. And I was used to making hundreds of thousands of dollars profit per month. And, I had it so systemized, so down to a T that like just became the norm. And I went through my first, bear market cycle. So I had a majority of my net worth in Bitcoin. When you look at your paper net worth, sometimes you can get a little cocky or greedy. That's kind of a better word. Watching that drop 75% At the same time, I had to switch industries and get into a different business and go from making, let's say, 250 grand a month to basically 20 grand a month.
Yeah.
Even people listening like, oh my God, 20 grand a month. You still have to understand, like when you're making that much money and then literally cutting that by 85%, it's a crazy change. And I wasn't really, there's no way to prepare for it. Like it just, something happened. I needed to make a major move. And this all happened coinciding when, we had the markets going down. So my net worth wasn't like supporting me in that time either.
Yeah.
Like I kept looking at my net worth, trying to get some confidence back. It's like, oh, fuck, that's down millions of dollars too. So, it's one of those times where I knew it was temporary. I knew that just like I've done all the other times, I was going to figure out a way to pivot. And I like what they were talking about at the event, talking about through me, not to me. And that's how I've been operating always as an entrepreneur. Like, I don't really study industries. Like, things just go through me. Things come to me, and I believe in God. And so, I know that He's watching. I know that I'm doing good work. I know that I'm going to become the best version of myself. So every day, you just keep going to the gym. Keep waking up early. Keep doing your morning routine. Keep doing the things that got you to where you are, and opportunity will come. And that's exactly what happened. Like, I made a huge pivot into a couple different businesses, not even just one. And now I'm back to, making that same amount of money or even more per month, which is, great.
Funny, as you're telling that story, I was thinking about one of the lessons that we learned out here yesterday. The story about a guy who lost everything.
Yeah.
Bank account cleaned out, somebody robbed him, business shut down. And instead of freaking out and chasing that money, he had the realization, I am money. And you could take it all away.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, because all the skills that I've stacked up, who I am, my personal brand, it's all just coming right back.
Get it right back.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's a comforting thought. So if you're listening or going through something like that, just know those skills are the value. It's not what you got in the bank account.
Exactly, man. I mean, people say it all the time. It's like, if you could tell me right now that I could go back 10 years, be 10 years younger, and have $0, I would do it every time. Like, knowing what I still know, So, yeah.
Wouldn't even be fair.
Yeah.
All right, so that was peak fear. Let's talk about some of the awesome experiences that you've had as an entrepreneur that most people don't get to think about, don't get to do. This is an example of one.
Yeah.
We got to take a week off, fly to France in the middle of the week,
Crazy.
network with 30 other really high-level dudes.
Yep.
We got to learn, we got to tear up the mountain, and that's just not something that most people get access to do. They don't even know that these things exist. What other experiences like this or otherwise have you had to convince people to do this wild thing that's entrepreneurship?
I think a really cool one is I retired my mom like a year after quitting my job.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Which was great because obviously they were scared shitless. They thought I was an idiot, and now they're like, holy fuck, like you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, this is great. So I retired her. She's been retired for like 2 years now, which has been incredible because now she's literally blossomed into her own entrepreneur. She got her time back. She was working at a doctor's office during COVID, wearing the mask, wearing the whole suit. She was crying every night. Not good. So I gave her time back, and it's been incredible. She's a breathwork coach now. She got Reiki certified, and she just coached her first breathwork session in Costa Rica. So like I'm watching her on her journey now, which is amazing. So that is probably my number one thing. I've taken my family on probably 5 or 6 incredible trips. We did Hawaii, we did Bora Bora, we've gone to Cabo a bunch. I mean, all these amazing places, everything paid for, first class. That was really cool.
To be able to do that for your mom is probably so satisfying and probably a lot less expensive than a lot of people might think.
It really is. So I just replaced her salary that she was making as an assistant doctor's office person. And so it's like 40 grand a year, which is like, I don't know, $1,500, $1,600 every 2 weeks. And it's just on Zelle, on auto pay.
Right.
So it's nothing crazy.
It means nothing to you, but it changes her whole life.
Changed her whole life. So my dad's next. And I've been telling him, he thinks I'm crazy.
Yeah.
But like, it's coming sooner than he thinks. And I'm going to have them work, mostly him on my Airbnbs. So like I built an Airbnb portfolio, and I want him to go and build that trust with him to let him kind of just run that.
Hell yeah.
And help him finance all my deals. And yeah, that'll be a really cool bonding experience. And then my next dream that I'm going to do is I'm going to build them their own house to retire in Arizona.
I think these are really good goals that not a lot of people think about when they're going into business.
Yeah.
But like imagine the feeling of being able to call your mom and say you don't have to work anymore.
It's the best feeling ever, man.
Such a wild thing.
It's crazy. I've been really blessed, dude. I've done a lot of really cool shit in the past 3 years. I've traveled the whole world, been to Dubai like 3 times, Bali and Maldives, Bora Bora, pretty much anywhere you could think of that's on Instagram, Positano, Mykonos, Santorini, Ibiza, all of it.
And you're able to work from anywhere.
I've literally made more money traveling those places than being stationary in Miami. It happens every time.
They say freedom, and I totally agree with this.
Yeah.
Freedom is the new currency. It's the most valuable currency of our generation.
100%.
This wouldn't be possible a decade, 2 decades ago.
No.
I think we're the luckiest generation alive.
To ever live. It's incredible. I mean, I'm so grateful every day. Like, some people think, like, once you arrive to this lifestyle, like, you get used to it and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I still, like, pinch myself every day. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. I was just walking back to go film this podcast, leaving from pizza, and the bells are ringing outside, the birds are chirping, the mountains look insane, and I'm just walking like, this is fucking crazy. Like,
Yeah.
It's what, Saturday, Tuesday, I don't even know. And, you know, I'm making money online through my businesses, and I'm with a bunch of friends, and I took the whole week off, basically. And we're just having fun. And like, I'm going back, and one day after I get back, I'm going to Denver, Colorado to ski with all my high school buddies.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like, it's just like, shit comes up, you can do whatever you want. And you know that it's not like a detriment, it's actually making your life better because you're, you know, networking or you're building your business while you're traveling. So like, you're not taking vacations. Like, the whole thing is what you want to be doing all the time. You don't need a vacation.
There's probably a lot of people listening, like watching you talk, making a couple $100,000 a month, which is, I mean, you compare that to some of the guys in the group, it's higher, lower. I mean, some people are just
Some people are really rich.
insane.
Kevin, he's
Yeah,
got a jet.
some people are wild.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel envious or driven by that? Because, you know, when you're checking Instagram back in the day, before you were an entrepreneur, you were seeing the kids do Lamborghinis and traveling.
Yeah.
The levels just kind of change.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Kevin's not on Instagram with his Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
But now we have access to people like that.
Sure.
What are your thoughts now when you look at entrepreneurs that are ahead of you?
Man, I'm happy for them. Like, I get motivated by them. I don't have any negative energy towards any jealousy or anything like that. Of course, when I didn't have any of it, and I didn't make anything for myself yet, I felt like that all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I was blaming everything. I was a victim. But now that I've taken full control of my life and, you know, I'm happy with a lot of the accomplishments I've done and I'm still on a trajectory to my highest potential, I'm happy with myself. Like, as long as I'm good with myself, I love myself, man, my best friend can go make $1 billion and I not get involved in the deal, and I'm happy for the guy. You know, entrepreneurs that are successful aren't talking shit on other entrepreneurs. Like,
No.
they're too busy. And if they are, they're not successful. Like, successful people don't look down and talk down on the other people. They're too worried about themselves. So if they are talking down and they're comparing and, you know, they're buying cars for no reason just to drive around to show off, like, those are not my type of people. You know, I don't like that shit. Like, I know I live in a very, I guess, egotistical kind of flashy place, Miami.
Right.
So there's a lot of that there, and I just don't associate with those people. Like, I don't give, like, for example, Carlton, my accountant, told me I needed to buy a car over 6,000 pounds this year for the write-off. And so, you know, it was either buy the Lambo Urus or get like a Tesla.
Yeah.
And like, I know the Tesla's not as flashy, not as sick, but do I really want to pay $40K over sticker price to get a car like that? Like, I'm not even gonna drive or post on Instagram? Like, no. So I just got a Tesla Model X Plaid instead of getting like a Lambo Urus. So like, just shit like that. Like, I don't care, man. I got my family, I got my girl. Like, I'm not
Right.
showing off.
And there's something to like diminishing return.
Yeah.
Like, after you're making $1 million a year, there's very little that you can't do.
So true.
You can live wherever you want, travel wherever you want, eat whatever
Yeah.
you want, drive whatever you want.
It's so true. Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at now. It's like, okay, I keep setting goals for myself to make more and more and more money. But like, what am I? Okay, I want to do my family stuff. I want to build them the house. I want to retire my dad.
Yeah.
But then after that, I literally don't need to make more than $1 million, $2 million a year. Like, what am I gonna do? So I gotta now, like, I'm doing an ayahuasca ceremony in June. for my birthday.
Let me know how that is.
And my intention going there is, what is my bigger purpose to do with money? Like, why am I on this journey in the first place? Like, I'm retired my family, you know, I got myself settled, like I got real estate, I got businesses. That's all great. I can kind of just do this for, you know, as long as I live, but I, for whatever reason, want to become a billionaire. But why? Why do I want to become a billionaire?
Because you love the game. This is one of the lessons from this week. We've been like, all right, 10 million. Like this year it's 10 million. And then once we hit the 10 million, I know it's going to be all right. Million, it's 20 million.
30 million.
You're chasing the rabbit.
That's so true.
I love building.
But yeah.
And that's when you realize that that's the fun part.
Yeah.
Is just doing business, growing, getting better, making connections like this, like networking. Then it becomes fun, and you get to stop chasing the next thing and just enjoying it.
I love growth. Yeah, we all love growth.
Yeah,
if you're not growing, you're dying. And so yeah, like I wanna give back. Like I really do know that I'm a good person, I have a good heart, and I want to help people. I'm not just saying that to be cool, or like saying that because that's like the status quo thing. I'm an entrepreneur. I really want to like change the world in some way. Like if that's starting a charity and like really building something special, giving back in that way, then that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm excited to figure out what that is. But for now, yeah, I'm 26, I'm having fun, and I'm doing what I love every day. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Colin, last question.
Yeah.
The biggest lesson that you've learned as an entrepreneur?
So I'll say this, for building wealth in your 20s, when you first get started, everyone's trying to invest right away. Everyone's like, okay, I got 10K in the bank. What altcoins am I buying?
Yep.
You know, it's like, like if people just knew that the more you put back into your brand and your business in the beginning stages, that massive shift that happens from that, like you have so much compound interest in that first stage of just throwing money back in, throwing money. Like if I didn't take that $6,600 that I made on credit class and I didn't go buy the airline pass that allowed me to go travel the world for free, and I didn't buy the Marriott stuff that allowed me to get rooms for 50% off, then I wouldn't have doubled down and I wouldn't have built the thing to 300 members in such a short period of time, because I wasn't walking the talk. If I would have just took that money, bought, you know, some Louis Vuitton and went to the bar and got some drinks and bought bottle service, it's not going anywhere. So like you gotta freaking invest in yourself. Don't invest in altcoins and in real estate and in all this bullshit until you have massive amounts of cash flow that you're happy with and you have a system built that you know is going to keep spitting off cash flow. Then you can go out and you can buy your passive income.
I couldn't agree with you more. I lost a lot of money in 2021.
Yeah.
I think people need to learn that lesson emotionally, because it's so hard to like be on Instagram and watch the kid who made $100 grand on Dogecoin with $100 investment and then not YOLO in.
I know.
I mean, I'm sure you've been there as well, where you learn that lesson the hard way with your own money, and then it seeps in emotionally, and you'll never make that mistake again.
So true.
But I want to back you up.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself, invest in your business, and even if you lose it, you learned a lot more losing that money.
Oh yeah.
Than you did YOLOing.
Losing money is like the greatest way to learn, because it hurts so fucking bad.
Yeah.
You know, you can't get it back. You know, either getting scammed or losing money in an investment. It's amazing. Like it will help you so much. Never make the same mistake again. It's the best way.
Colin, it was great chatting with you. This was a blast.
You too, bro. Yeah, had a great time.
If you guys are watching this and want to get in touch with Colin, where's the best place to do that?
Just Colin Yurcisin on Instagram, and I'm on every platform. So yeah, just hit me up.
All right, go send him a message. Thanks, guys.